But since then, I found help, and we found each other. You know, the only thing worse than wasting those years with alcohol was losing those years with my daughter.
Mary Frances has been sober for 4 years because it's never too late for a new beginning. Call New Beginnings now.
The People's Court. Find it weekdays beginning September 15th.
Good morning and welcome to Twin Cities Live. Thanks for being with us today here at the Minnesota State Fair Live, and we have a great group of people with us and great guests. If you watch television, you have seen our 3 guests today. Now, have you been wondering lately whatever happened to that two-faced, wise guy from Leave It to Beaver, Eddie Haskell? Well, we know exactly where he is. He's with us today, live here on Twin Cities Live. Eddie Haskell, actor Ken Osmond.
Starring Barbara Billingsley, Hugh Beaumont.
Okay, and what about the Beverly Hillbillies? Jed Clampett's blonde, bubble-headed, and beautiful daughter. Here she is, Ellie Mae Clampett, actress Donna Douglas.
Through the story about a man named Jed, a poor mountaineer barely kept his family fed. And then one day he was shooting at some food and up through the ground.
And everybody's favorite wolf boy from the Munsters. This man made pointed ears popular long before Mr. Spock. Here he is, Eddie Munster, Butch Patrick. Gee, it's kind of strange sitting here looking at you, you know, after watching you so many times on TV and to see you in person. And I guess I want to start. What have you been doing? Now, I know, as far as Ken is concerned, it should hold up, whoop, as I step in a hole here. Lovely. Did you dig that? USA Today got Jerry Mathers, the Beaver, on the front cover. If you were with us watching Good Morning America, the Beaver, Wally, and of course the mom, June, was on. Ken, evidently you've got something going as far as the Beaver.
Boy, do we ever.
Tell me about it.
We got a brand new Leave It to Beaver going. We're setting precedents all over with shows. It's the most terrific thing that I can imagine, and the timing was just perfect for me to get back into the industry. I've been virtually out of the industry for 20 years.
Now tell me what you were doing when you were out of the industry.
I was a Los Angeles police officer.
A Los Angeles police officer, and we're not talking about an office job here either. I mean, you were in the line of duty.
Out on the street.
And in fact,
all the bad guys.
You were shot at a couple of times.
I was shot once, yes, 3 times.
Donna, what have you been doing?
All sorts of school. After the Beverly Hillbillies, I went to night school, got my real estate license because I wanted to do quality films or do something worthwhile, and a lot of the things I was offered wasn't of that caliber. Did a little country singing, did some gospel singing. Just completed my 2nd gospel album. We're working to produce our own movie.
What's the movie going to be about?
It's a comedy. Good. We'll use some big-name people. Good show. And, I'm going to do some commercials and promotion. Doing a children's show. I go to Canada and September and do a children's show. Just go all the time. I work a lot with young people, youth groups, sharing and that type of thing.
Butch, where have you been? You were into rock and roll for a while, doing a little bit. I miss the hair, I want to tell you right off. There you go.
We all lose it as we get older. A few years ago, I decided I wanted to do rock videos when they first came out, so I started producing rock videos. And the first project was Whatever Happened to Eddie, something self-produced, self-directed to show some people some film. And it caught on pretty well, and then recently I've been a spokesperson for the Great American Screen Test, which is a talent search organization similar to Star Search, but once a year. We had 34,000 contestants this year. Some of you may have received postcards in the mail, I don't know. And myself and Debbie Sue Moffat, Miss America 1983, are co-spokespersons for it.
How did they do your ears?
My ears?
Yeah, I mean, everybody thinks Mr. Spock made those famous. You had them a long time
They would take
before
a plaster cast and they'd carve out the point. They'd pour in liquid rubber every morning and then glue them on. Not very glamorous, but it worked.
Now, for you, Ken, and Butch also, and for Donna, I mean, it's success at a very early age. I mean, it came big in a big way, and then all of a sudden it sort of disappeared there real quickly. How did you handle that? That had to be, you're sitting on top of the world one moment. Beverly Hillbillies went to #1 after being on the air just 5 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, that isn't, I don't think that's ever happened since that time.
For 2 solid years, too. We stayed #1 for 2 solid years.
All right, Donna, you're riding on top of the world, and all of a sudden, I think it was, what was the late 60s that they canceled it? 70s?
70s, early 70s.
Early
yeah,
70s,
yeah.
all of a sudden your show's canceled, and where are you turning to at that point?
Oh, no problem. I mean, I don't know. I feel that the best is yet to come, so I don't have a problem. It's always, it just goes like this.
Was
so.
there a problem with typecasting? People wouldn't, you know, you said you had trouble getting roles in different movies. They just wanted to cast Ellie Mae and not Donna as the actress?
No, quite the contrary. Everyone suggested that I change my image, you know, and do something different. But the caliber of work, it was just, you know, I didn't want to do that.
Did you get out of the business, voluntarily? Did you look around at first?
Well,
or?
Unlike Donna, I went through an ego thing. You know, you're up on top, and there's not sufficient work there to really maintain yourself. It's very insecure financially, the whole entertainment industry. And I went out and got menial labor, and I did go through an ego thing, and it's difficult. And my son now is getting pretty active in the industry, and I'm being very careful to guard against him going through what I did.
Is there, you're going to try to protect him, to let him know that...
educate him, I think, really is a better word.
Butch, when you were trying to rock
I quit
band,
voluntarily.
Did you?
Yeah, the last show I did was a Saturday morning show called Lidsville, which was like a HR puff and stuff thing with Charles Nelson Riley. And after 11 weeks of that, I just decided I'd rather go to the beach and surf and drive fast cars and enjoy my childhood, because, you know, up to that point I'd worked since I was 6 years old to 18. So what I did is I just got out of the business till I was 25. Then I started thinking about re-entering it, and that's where I really made my biggest mistake, because you can't stop. It's hard to restart a career in the movie business once you let it go sour.
You all three were very young when you, Donna was a little bit older, obviously, when she did the Beverly Hillbillies, but do you feel like you missed a lot during that time when you were working constantly? Because doing a television series is a lot of work.
For one, I think for what I missed, I think I gained more. I think there was more good involved. If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change my mind. I missed a few things, maybe Little League games and stuff like that, but all in all, I think the positive outweighed the negative.
Hi, I have a question for Donna. I've got an argument with a couple of guys at work. Were you in a musical concerning some type of riverboat a few years back?
Did I did a film?
Yes.
Yes,
Was that, which was it? Was that Frankie and Johnny?
Yeah.
Okay, who was your co-star?
Pardon?
Who was your co-star with that?
Who was the co-star?
In Frank and Johnny?
Yeah.
I worked with Elvis Presley.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty good co-star.
And, and I don't know a lot of the other people that were there.
Okay, Elvis is the one we're concerned about. It was Elvis. Now, this seemed to be Elvis week all over public TV and other channels. Now, what was your opinion of him, real quick?
Well, when I was working with him, he was very professional, very nice person, you know. Because I just worked on the set. We worked long hours and hard hours, that's all.
Do you keep in touch? Obviously, Ken, you're in touch with the Beaver cast because you're back into production. You're going to have the new show. But how about Donna and Butch? Do you keep in touch with the cast at all?
Well, I've been traveling an awful lot, you know, because I work a lot with young people, you know, get them interested in life and the good things of life. Work with a lot with young people and talk to ladies groups, youth groups, and things like that. So I've been traveling a lot. I was with Buddy in November. They had a special day for Pioneer Broadcasters, and I was there for that. And Max, I talked to him on the phone a long time, tried to get him to do the 2-hour special we did, but he wouldn't. You know, he didn't go for that too easy. He and Jethro, you know, they kind of...
He wasn't too, Max Baer, who played Jethro, he wasn't too fond of that character.
No, that's right, he wasn't. So he's producing now, I think, doing real well, but he wasn't too happy with that at all.
Butch, how about you? Have you been around any of the Munsters lately?
Well, Al Lewis, Grandpa, lives out near me, and when I am in Los Angeles, we go to basketball games. He's a big basketball booster for Northridge. Fred lives in the East Coast. The only person I haven't seen at all is Yvonne DiCarlo. That's the only cast member that we've never run into each other in our travels.
I have a question for Ken. On Still the Beaver, is it harder or easier working with your real son as your son on the show?
I try to separate Ken Osmond and Eddie Haskell, and separate also Eric Osmond and Freddie Haskell. When I'm working with my son, it's not my son. It's another actor. It's Freddie Haskell. So I think I'm reasonably successful in mentally separating the people, so I'm really working with somebody else, not my son.
When they brought your character back, some people said it wasn't really the real Eddie Haskell, but now with this new WTBS production, the real Eddie Haskell evidently is back, and your son is even worse than the original Eddie Haskell.
Oh, he's rotten. He's rotten.
Do you like that?
It's a fun character. I mean, how much fun can you be being a Ward Cleaver? I mean, he's a nice guy, super guy, but he's not fun. Eddie's fun.
Eddie's fun. Oh, he's a lot of fun. I used to love Eddie Munster. You had a pet. You had, and the thing about that show was filmed in black and white. And in reading about it, excuse me, a lot of the makeup, they wore green makeup.
That was one of the reasons when we went off the air. We were only on the air 2 years, but at the junction of 65, when the networks were switching over to color, the producers and CBS, they wanted to go color about 6 months before the rest of the network because we felt we had earned it. We'd all been makeup 2 hours a day for the last 2 years, and they had a little bit of a power struggle. And as I understand it, I was only a kid back then, but as I understand it, it was just pretty much between Batman and the producers not getting along with the network. The Munsters died a quick death.
How do you explain the fact that the Munsters were on for just 2 years? And now it's on all over the country, all over the world, and will probably be on beyond my lifetime.
One reason is we did a lot of shows per year. We did 82 shows in 2 years, so it gives a decent syndication package. And number two is it's one of those timeless things like your show of shows or something. Because of the makeup, if they would color, computer color it, they could probably keep showing it because it's the same slapstick comedy and it's the same actors and the same old jokes still work today.
That's a great idea to computer color it. That would be fantastic. We're going to be back with much more with Butch Clampett, Donna Douglas, and of course Ken Osmond right after this. Butch Patrick.
Introducing Bon Bon's brand ice cream nuggets, so deliciously irresistible.
Hello? Your Highness. Not tonight.
So truly scrumptious and delicately bite-sized.
Marcello. Not tonight.
Bon Bon's brand, a tiny scoopful of creamy vanilla or chocolate ice cream inside, a chocolatey coating outside.
The inauguration. Another year.
Bon Bon's brand, simply irresistible.
A few diet tips from AccuTrim. Try to eat slowly. Chew your food well. But may we also suggest you try AccuTrim. AccuTrim is a tablet, an easy-to-swallow tablet that helps control your appetite a full 16 hours. Because when you're dieting, you need all the help you can get. AccuTrim, the 16-hour appetite suppressant, in tablet form.
I always loved to dance. But when you're over 45 and single, sometimes it's hard to find the right partner. At least I always thought so until I heard about Older is Better. And they've introduced me to some very nice gentlemen who like the same things I do. The service is confidential, and it's affordable, and it's worked for thousands of folks so far. Also, you'll feel good about their careful member screening. So why wait? Call Older is Better right now. The next dance could be yours.
Welcome back to Twin Cities Live. I want to start with Butch Patrick. Did I put you in the Clampett fan there? The Clampett clan. A trivia question. How many people know the name of Eddie's pet that was kept under the staircase? Look at this. Incredible. Everybody knows that. Well, here, let me give you one that's a little tougher. What was the name of the street that the Munsters lived on? What was the address? Look at this. Isn't it incredible?
Sharp crowd.
Does that amaze you how many of the details that they learned about all three shows?
It's just, you watch the TV, that's like, Ken was the same thing. When you grow up in this period, things just click in your mind, just things you don't even think about, but they're there. It's like, I can still remember all 50 states and capitals from when I was 5 years old. I don't know why, but they're there.
Donna, you certainly weren't a child when Beverly Hillbillies went on the air. You were the vivacious and... Well, no, I mean, you weren't 12 years old that I know of. But when that show went on the air, the critics absolutely blasted it.
Yeah.
all over the place. How did you react to that? That had to be tough to handle.
We just smiled.
Just smiled
Really?
through the whole
Oh, yeah.
thing?
Yeah. Well, as I said, they said it was a one-time show. And after the first year, you know, especially there was a reporter, you know, a columnist in LA that did that. So that we had a party after, I think it was the first year, and we said, whatever happened to him, you know, had a big cake.
Go ahead.
Okay. Butch Patrick, there were 2 actresses who played Marilyn on the show. Do you remember why the switch was made?
Yeah, the first actress was Beverly Owen. She did about 15 shows, and she fell in love with the producer, and she wanted out of the series and had to go back to New York. So they let her out, and they hired Pat Priest. Not very many people know that. Very good.
Pat Priest? Oh, I remember Pat Priest.
Ken, was it frustrating after you stopped doing the show? People would come up and call you, hey, Eddie, how you doing, instead of by your real name. Did you find that sometimes it was hard to keep your own individual identity?
No, I still answer to Eddie. For 30 years, people say Eddie, I answer to it.
You got the same problem I got.
Oh, sure. Yeah, sure.
All right, same with you?
Yeah, Eddie, I'll turn around.
It's a piece out of your life. Sure, it's a slice. I was. Ellie was a part of my life.
So that doesn't bother you at all?
No.
You had a question, didn't you?
This is for Butch. Did you get to have to sit for 2 hours and while you put on your makeup, or did you get to get up every once in a while?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Did you have to sit that whole time, the 2 hours to the makeup and everything? Was that kind of a tedious thing to go through?
Yeah, it was. It was very tedious, and it made the day quite a bit longer, but you had to be there, and that's part of the job.
I was wondering, Donna Douglas, in your show you portrayed the hillbilly girl that liked all the animals. I was wondering if you have a lot of animals in your home, or do you have pets?
I love pets. I don't, because for the last 3 years I've been traveling so much. But yes, I think you have to love animals to work with them. And that's a question I'm probably asked more than any question, you know, if I really love animals.
You really like those little critters.
Them critters.
Critters. You remember the name of her dog?
Where?
Oh, what was the name of her dog?
I don't know.
You don't know? How many people know the name of her dog?
I do. Duke.
Duke. Duke. How could you forget Duke?
Oh,
He never
Duke.
moved, but he was...
Oh, we had a few Dukes. You know, he didn't, because we were on 9 years, we had, I think, about 4 Dukes. The one that was the original one was 16 years old when we started, and it pushed that down, and you could lift up and stand up tall, and he didn't move, his feet didn't move from the floor, there's so much skin there. But then if he had to do any exercise or run or chase anything, well, then he always had a double that did that for him.
A double for Duke.
Yeah.
I'd like to know where each one grew up and how they got started in the business.
Yeah, because I'm sure you went about it. I know, Ken, with you, your mother...
I had the typical TV movie mother.
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to say
Look
that.
at my little Johnny Tap dancing, isn't he cute? I went through every type of lesson you can have, from ballet to drama to dialects to fencing to you name it. And when Beaver came around, I went through the standard, what is referred to as cattle call, where every agent in town sends every client they have, and through a process of elimination, I got lucky.
Donna, how did you get it? You're from Louisiana originally.
I was born out in the country. My folks were very poor, didn't know beans about acting, never planned to be an actress. And
Well, how'd you get the role?
well, I went to New York. I knew it was a place up there on a map, the farthest north. I'd been to Shreveport, Louisiana. Went to New York, was there 6 months, and then I got a screen test, and they sent me to California, and then a short while was up for Beverly Hillbillies.
What about you, Butch?
My mom's girlfriend wanted to be an agent and was looking for any clients, and, no experience necessary. They had like three shots left in the camera after they got done with my sister, and took 3 pictures, and I got very lucky. The first interview I went on, I got, and credits went from there.
This is for Donna. What happened to your pet monkey, Betsy?
Cousin Bessie, I'm sure you still see her around. They too grow up, you know.
How old was Granny when she was doing the shows?
Granny, I would say she was in her late, when she passed on, she was 70, so she was in her late 50s.
Run back here real quick.
When she started it, excuse me.
Do actors benefit financially from reruns and reruns and reruns?
I wish.
Yeah, this brings up an important point. How much money did you make when you were doing the show, and do you get anything now? Because everybody would think you'd be immensely wealthy, but that's not the case, is it?
No.
What happened?
Nobody wants to touch this one.
I mean, are there hard...
I just say, I have a pat answer. I just say I do okay, you know. It really wasn't that, it's not as much as people think, you're right.
Yeah.
What was the problem? Is it nobody really thought about it?
You have an agent that gets 10%, and you have a manager that gets 15%, and Uncle Sam gets 50%, and...
That's not counting your mother.
Now, with the Beverly Hillbillies, though, I believe Buddy Epson still gets a cut of the reruns, doesn't he?
I could tell you what, but I tell you what happens to me. I don't know about Buddy. I'm sure Buddy was the pivot, so he certainly did by far the best. But Jethro and me were just babies starting out, you know, as far as acting went. And Granny, I don't know, she may have done okay, but we didn't make a lot of money. Of course, you did your personal appearances, you did a lot of other things, and that supplemented. But in the actual show, no. And then I get residuals now the last couple of years or so, but that's all.
Whatever happened to the banker and his secretary?
Mr. Drysdale passed on. Nancy, I spoke to her. I was interviewed in Boston, and she called in by phone. She ran for Congress last year in
Pennsylvania, wasn't it?
Pennsylvania. Thank you. Yes.
I got a question for Eddie Munster. What made the stairs go up in the show?
Yeah.
3 men with big, strong arms behind the backdrop pulling on it.
They're pulling on the rope, huh?
Yeah.
Ken, how close was your own personality to the role of Eddie Haskell?
Boy, is that question loaded, huh? I think there's a little Eddie Haskell in everybody.
I think you're right.
You know one. There was one that lived on your block when you grew up, right?
That's true.
You remember him?
That's true. Donna, how about you? Because at least you didn't have to come up with a Southern accent. You already had that.
Right. No, that was like, you know, when I finally went up and part, the man said, you think you can do this part? And it was like, I was so excited. All I could do was this. I was thrilled to death because I wanted a family show, and I was raised a tomboy. You know, that was softball pitcher, the whole thing, swung on vines, whistle.
But you were so young. Yeah. You were so young that, was there a lot of acting involved?
I got into acting. I never, opposite from Ken, I never took any lessons, and I never really thought about being an actor. It just wasn't something I woke up one morning and wanted to do, but like the situation arose, and I just had a good memory, and I wasn't intimidated by adults, and the lights and the camera didn't bother me, and just it perpetuated itself, and I used to turn down actually probably more work than I ever did because of the fact that I wasn't really crazy about the business. It's probably why I got out of it so soon.
Okay, for Ken Osmond, okay, you're a police officer, right?
I'm sorry?
You're a police officer, right?
I was, yes.
What do you think about kids getting into the Police Explorer program?
I'm sorry, what do I think about?
Police Explorer program. Do you know about that at all?
That's terrific. Great. Yeah, it's sure a whole lot better place for a young man to be or a young lady than out on the streets with, you know, doing whatever. Sure, it's a great thing.
Ellie Mae, you're into singing, and when we come back, we're gonna see a little bit of you have a gospel song for us that you just put out a record. We got that and much more with Eddie Munster, Eddie Haskell, and Ellie Mae Clampett after this.
Here at the Weight Loss Clinic, you lose weight fast. You can lose as much as 1 dress size every 2 weeks and get results like these.
Now that I'm slim, my husband and I like to sneak away for the weekend.
At the Weight Loss Clinic, Gail Weems lost 45 pounds and went from a size 16 to an 8.
Losing weight has put the romance back in my marriage. Thank you, Weight Loss Clinic.
When I was overweight, I never liked to have my picture taken.
At the Weight Loss Clinic, Debbie Verkman lost 59 pounds and went from a size 15 to a 7.
My husband's very proud of me. I haven't been this slim in 10 years. Thank you, Weight Loss Clinic.
We help those people, and we'd like to help you. We can help you lose as much as 1 dress size every 2 weeks. So call the Weight Loss Clinic now. We'll give you all the facts, plus a 30-minute consultation, absolutely free. Remember, our nurses make the difference. You can lose up to 1 dress size every 2 weeks, so call us at the Weight Loss Clinic now.
Important notice to all Americans born between 1912 and 1941. If you are currently between the ages of 45 and 75, you are now guaranteed acceptance for permanent cash value whole life insurance protection for just $6.95 a month. This plan is yours without a medical exam, without health questions, without any fear of being turned down regardless of your medical history. Now, even if you've been turned down for life insurance before because of your age or your health, you can get the big dollar whole life protection you need conveniently easily. This could be your only chance to discover how easy, how economical it is to get meaningful life protection. So call this toll-free number now for free, no-obligation information. Remember, both the call and the information are free. If you're between the ages of 45 and 75, you cannot be turned down, guaranteed. Call now, 1-800-453-9300. This is a free call, 1-800-453-9300.
See in my eyes what will always be shared. Whatever happened to Eddie? I'm the kid from Mockingbird Lane. Whatever happened to Eddie? Did I freak or go insane? You might wonder why I have a dragon for a pet. Well, he's just there to keep me company on the set. Whatever happened to Eddie? I'm the kid who makes the bread.
Well, we know what happened to Eddie now. Oh, that was interesting, Butch.
Where are you?
Over here.
There you are. Okay.
Oh, goodness.
I'd like to know if any of you are married and have families.
I'm not. And I've been engaged twice, but I never could get anybody to the altar.
I'm available. I'm available, and I have a little son. Yeah, but I was married when I was 17. So I have a little son, and I'm available, too.
Just form a line over here.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
We're staying at the...
And Ken, of course, we know that you have a family.
Yes, I'm married, and I have two boys. Eric, who plays Freddie, and I have 3 years younger is Christian, who is popping up in the show from time to time as Bomber Haskell.
Bomber Haskell.
Bomber.
Well, that's a great name.
I want to ask Butch this question. Did your stage makeup ever itch?
All the time. I mean, it was. I used to have a makeup man that would follow me around, almost tie my arms behind my back, you know, because it was constantly all the glue and the stuff was always making me itch. Very much so.
I have a question for Ken. Whose idea was it to let your real son play the role as Freddie on Still the Beaver?
When they were starting out having the big, massive cattle calls that I referred to, the executive producer called me and says, hey, don't you have a son about this age? And I said, yeah. And he says, well, we're having these interviews. Why don't you send him down? And I said, well, he's never done any acting before. Well, I'll send him down. What the heck? And he competed, and I really believe that he got the job fair and square. He went through about a half dozen interviews before he finally landed it.
Butch, I was wondering how tall Herman was in real life.
How tall Herman was?
Yeah, he was a big
Herman,
man.
He was 6'7", and then with the boots and the headpiece, he tapped in right around 7'1".
Oh. A big, big man. Whoop.
This is a question for Butch Patrick.
Yes.
Do you still have your little werewolf doll?
Wolf doll, sure. Yeah, definitely. One of a kinder.
What's your latest project, Butch? What are you working on now? Saw your...
Well, the video was about 3 years ago. I was out at Universal 3 weeks ago. They're trying to come up with a scenario for a remake of The Munsters. But what right now what pays the bills for me is I'm the spokesperson for the Great American Screen Test.
I was wondering, Ken Osmond, like you said you were a policeman. What do you think of like Hill Street Blues and all the cop shows that are on TV now? Are they real or?
You could probably take a little bit from each one of them as factual. I don't know of any police show that is really, truly factual.
When it comes to your daily schedule, how tough was it, especially when you were a kid? Because it takes a long time to do those shows. At least I thought it does. But what was your schedule like?
I lived a long way from the studio, so I had an hour's drive, my mom, an hour's drive to work, and then, hour and a half, 2 hours in makeup, and then into school, and then usually I would work after lunch and get out about 5 o'clock, so inside a soundstage, I didn't see this, my skin was so pale white after 2 years of makeup, never seen the sun, that I looked like a ghost anyway. So it was a pretty hectic schedule.
Yeah. How about you, Donna?
Oh, I was so excited to be doing the Hillbillies. I mean, it was such a joy for me, so I loved it. I never minded, the studio time. We worked about 12 hours a day, 3 days a week when we filmed.
Ken?
kids have got it great because there's welfare laws that take care of them. I'll tell you, it's a grind now. Friday, I started at 6 a.m. and I got off at 8:30 at night, and I got a 7 o'clock call tomorrow morning. So it can be a very long day. The kids really don't know how good they got it.
Well, we were talking about special projects, and now Donna is going to sing a song for us. It's a gospel. Is this on a new album or a new record that you put out, or?
No, it's not my new one because my
Yeah, just walk right on out.
my new one is in the process of being released.
Okay, the new one's in the process of being released. All right, well, here she is, Donna Douglas. Let's give her a round of applause here.
He's still working on me to make me what I ought to be. It took him just a week to make the moon and stars, the sun and the earth and Jupiter and Mars. How loving and patient he must be. He's still working on me. There really ought to be a sign upon my heart. Don't judge me yet, there's an unfinished part. But I'll be perfect according to his plan, fashioned by my master's loving hand. He's still working on me to make me what I ought to be. It took him just a week to make the moon and stars, sun and the earth and Jupiter and Mars. How loving and patient he must be. He's still working on me. In the mirror of his work, reflections that I see, makes me wonder why he never gave up on me. But he loves me as I am. He helps me when I pray. Remember, he's the potter, I'm the clay. He's still working on me to make me what I ought to be. It took him just a week to make the moon and stars, sun and the earth and Jupiter and Mars. How loving and patient he must be. He's still working on me. How loving and patient he must be. He's still working on me. He's still working on me. Still working on me. He's still working on me.
Thank you, Donna.
I have a question for Butch. I have a question for Butch for my daughter Lisa. She'd like to know how old you are now.
I'm sorry, what was?
How old are you now?
I'm 33.
You're how old?
27 on my next birthday.
27 on your next birthday.
I'm holding.
How were your families? Now, you mentioned your mom, Ken, but Butch, how about you, as far as your families and the support of
During
going
the
through?
Munsters?
Yeah.
During the Munsters, I had a kind of a unique situation. I was living in the Midwest, in Illinois, and I flew out and I got the part, and my folks were living in Washington, D.C., because my dad was a pro ball player back then, the old Washington Senators. So I would fly to Washington, D.C. every Friday night, fly back every Sunday night. I did this for like 2 years. It was fairly hectic. I hired a woman to take me to work, and I got to know, I think I knew every TWA stewardess in the world, after 84 flights back and forth.
When we come back, yours is the next question, but we've got a break. Back with more Twin Cities Live after this.
If you or someone you know has a hearing problem, you may not know where to turn. I'd like to talk to you about Miracle Ear, because like 22 million other people with hearing loss, you may be unsure about what to do. You may believe that your hearing loss is not severe enough to use a hearing aid. You may have been told you have nerve deafness and that a hearing aid won't help you. But now there's Miracle Ear's sophisticated technology designed to help nerve deafness. And Miracle Ear has helped thousands of people just like you to hear and understand more clearly. Perhaps you have difficulty hearing in large groups, or background noise is a problem. People say your TV's turned up too loudly, or you might have problems hearing on the phone or in an auditorium. Now's the time to write down this number, 1-800-445-4600. Call now about Miracle Ear, the tiny, all-in-the-ear hearing aid you can barely see. It has no wires, cords, or tubes. Miracle Ear is custom-made and custom-fit to your ear, and it's so small, you may be surprised how many people are wearing Miracle Ear. Simply because you've never noticed it. Call toll-free now, and we'll send you more information on how Miracle Ear may help you. You'll also learn more about the walk-in convenience of our Miracle Ear centers and how you may obtain a hearing test to see if Miracle Ear is right for you. Call now, 1-800-445-4600 with no cost or obligation. Of course, not everyone can be helped with hearing aids. But why not find out today if you may be helped by Miracle Ear? If you hear but don't always understand the words, Miracle Ear may change your life. Call now to learn more about Miracle Ear and the walk-in convenience of the Miracle Ear Center nearest you. Write to this address or call 1-800-445-4600. Miracle Ear. We're helping people listen to life. Again.
Eddie, this time was supposed to be different. You were going to buy her something nice to show how much you love her. Remember?
The way to show a woman that you care is by looking good for her. How do you like this new jacket I bought this afternoon?
Eddie, you're amazing.
Yeah, thanks. You know, maybe I'll get your mom to help me. She still dresses pretty good, considering what your old man left her.
Eddie, now you've gone too far. I'm going to have to hurt you.
Hey, touchy, touchy. You know, you've been bent all out of shape ever since your mom and old Bloom Garden became an item.
How did you hear about that?
It's the talk of the pool hall.
You mean they're talking about my mother down at the pool hall?
Well, I am. Why is she going out with such a loser? She might as well stay home with a beaver.
In less than a minute, you've insulted my wife, my mother, and my brother.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's just that I happen to think your mom could do better than old Choo-Choo Charlie.
You just don't like Bloom Garden because he made you spend most of the 4th grade in the cloakroom.
Hey, that wasn't so bad. You'd be surprised how much change kids leave in their coat pockets.
Oh. He hasn't changed a bit, has he?
No, he hasn't. Nope. I have a question for Ken. Does your family and Beavers and Wallies ever get together and socialize?
Not on a regular basis. We're separated geographically by quite some distance, but we do occasionally, yes.
Just for the folks so they know, it's called the new Leave It to Beaver show, correct?
The new Leave It to Beaver show.
And it's going to be on
2 weeks from today on WTBS.
What about offstage, behind the scenes? Were there ever any tense moments, any moments that were not so pleasant when you were doing the television programs? Because there's...
You know, that is a typical situation on most production companies. But in 6 years of making the original Leave It Beaver show, I honestly can never remember one word of animosity. It was really a great big family.
Donna, Butch?
That was true with us. You know, we never really had any problems. Overall, it was, you know.
Oh, we hated each other. No, I'm just kidding. No, actually, the same production company that did the Beaver did the Munsters after the Beaver went off the air, and it was probably the best group of folks I've ever had the privilege of working with.
Yeah.
Butch and I had the same boss, Joe Connolly and Bob Moser.
Yeah, same producers, same writers.
And some trivia there is that they took some of the plots, some of the storylines from Leave It to Beaver and sort of reworked them a little bit.
Well, you could tell there was a lot of it was written from a kid's standpoint. So you know, there's a lot of G-pops and a lot of this and a lot of that, and I can see the correlation between the two of them.
I have a question for Butch. How did you make Spot on the show?
Okay. Spot was a, did you ever see 1 Million BC where a Tyrannosaurus Rex is chasing Raquel Welch around? What they did is they took this rubber monster and they cut off his head and they cut off his tail and they hung the head in the stairwell and they put gas flames that come out of his mouth and lit up his eyeballs, and then they had this tail on wheels with air hoses, so you only saw the tail or you only saw the head or you saw what he might have eaten, but you never really saw the whole thing. But that's what it was a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
I have a question for Ken. Did anyone ever recognize you when you made arrests as a policeman in Los Angeles?
It was a rarity because where I work, it was not the social capital of the world. It's Very few of them spoke English, and I don't think many of them ever saw TV. And not only that, when you see a policeman, you don't see the person. You see a helmet and a leather jacket and a badge and boots, and that's what you really see.
I have a question for Ken. In the new Leave It to Beaver show, is Larry Mondello and Lumpy Rutherford going to be in there too?
Lumpy is in, yes, that's Frank Bank. Larry is living in Atlantic City. He's an insurance salesman, I understand. His name is Rusty Stevens, or Bob Stevens. And he did our movie of the week with us, and I understand that he may pop up from time to time. I don't know this to be true.
I have a question for Butch. Was that Lily's real hair, or was it a wig?
No, it wasn't. It was a long, long, very heavy wig that gave her hours of problems.
Donna, what's the craziest thing that ever happened on the Beverly Hillbillies? I mean, you had a, excuse me, you had a cast there that could have been a little crazy.
Yeah, there was a few funny times. I think one time when the bear chased the director up on a ladder. Another time, they hired the super hog, the story about the super hog. But what they didn't, when they booked, the man gave the idea to the producer and they went with it. But what they didn't tell him is that this hippopotamus, which it was, had an elephant that had to be touching him the whole time he worked. Now, it's one thing to have to work with the hippopotamus on a set, but to have an elephant in the scene and not be seen. So that was unbelievable.
Tough
that
camera angle. Anything happened on the Beaver set that was a little strange?
There's always something going on. Probably the funniest story is when Beaver and Wally brought home a horse. And at one point, he was supposed to lay down and go to sleep. And to do this, they brought in a veterinarian, and they gave him a downer or something. Anyway, it was done by a licensed vet. And through the rest of the day of shooting, the horse was snoring. And they had to work around that.
Did Spot ever accidentally get you instead of the bad guy?
No, but one time we used to do an exit when everybody would pile in the Munster coach and drive away down the street. And Fred is a practical joker. And one time he just went out the front gate of Universal, got on the Hollywood freeway, went over the hill. And people, I mean, we're causing a lot of stares because they're looking for the camera. The camera's got to be around here somewhere. And he turned around, we came back about an hour later, and everybody's still waiting for us, you know. The assistant director's chomping on a cigar, Zimmy.
Yeah. Okay, I have a question for Butch. How come Marilyn wasn't really a monster? She didn't really look like one.
She was the ugly cousin. Poor cousin Marilyn.
But Ken, what about... There were rumors at one time that you were Alice Cooper or something, or when you disappeared for a while, did you hear any of those? Or
our show was plagued with rumors. Jerry Mathers got killed in Vietnam. I was Alice Cooper. The worst one, I was doing porno films. And the most recent one was that I married Barbara Billingsley.
No, Barbara.
No, I wasn't.
Okay. We get right back over here. The question deep into the crowd. Go ahead.
Whatever happened to the food that Grandma cooked?
The victuals? Yeah. Pone and possum and the devil hawk eggs and the owl burgers and everything? You've just been eating that and don't know about grits and all that.
We're going to have more with Eddie Haskell, Ellie Mae Clampett, and, of course, Eddie Munster right after this.
Angela Storr, watching Eyewitness News Sunday, you found that a Minneapolis man survived an accident after an hour-long rescue effort. You also found that negotiators failed to reach a weekend settlement in the Hormel strike. And Lutheran leaders in Minneapolis will vote this week on a proposal to merge 3 Lutheran organizations. Tonight, Williams Pipeline Company begins repairs on the ruptured gas line in Mounds View. Find that story and more tonight on Eyewitness News.
Remember that special feeling called summer? Remember the taste of summer nectarines, so tangy, sweet, and good for you?
Summer fruits from California, fresh from the tree, taste them and see.
They have that special flavor that only summer can bring. But like summer, they'll soon be just a sweet memory.
Summer fruits, it wouldn't be summer without
Do burgers sometimes give you that heavy feeling?
Lingerie, housewares, bedding, notions, knickknacks, tie-tacks, trousers, tweezers, tights, toys.
Fortunately, there's a cure. The taco salad from Taco Bell. Crisp iceberg lettuce, garden fresh vegetables, tangy cheddar cheese, and seasoned ground beef. So why load yourself down with burgers?
Hi, guys.
Lighten up with a cool, refreshing taco salad instead from Taco Bell. Get your kids the new Right Riders Kids Meal with a special prize inside from Taco Bell.
Accident and insurance laws are complex, and if you've been injured in an accident, you're smart to put yourself in the care of a law firm like Schwabel, Getz, and Sieben. We'll help ensure you receive acceptable compensation for your injuries, medical care, and property damages. Does it cost more to hire a lawyer from Schwabel, Getz, and Sieben? No. In fact, there's no fee until your case is settled. For a complete recovery, call the law firm of Schwabel, Getz, and Sieben.
Do you consider yourself a healthy person? Healthy except that you may have a minor addiction that you just can't quit. Maybe it's caffeine, maybe it's sugar, or perhaps the dreaded tobacco smoking. Well, Twin Cities Live wants to hear from you because next Friday's show, our guest Dr. Robert Giller is going to show you how you can get away from that addiction. A revolutionary new book. It's called Medical Makeover. You can get rid of coffee, sweets, smoking. Just call 641-1298. And in addition to getting over your addiction to sugar and caffeine or coffee, you can come in and see the show and have a good time. It's 641-1298. But you've got to call us after 11 today. So if you have any of those addictions and you want to fight it, give us a call after 11, 641-1298.
Ellie, a question for you. I believe you did it a minute ago, but you had that nice little whistle. Can you give us that whistle again?
We're in trouble now. All the hogs out of the hog barn are going to come running over here now. We're going to have hogs and cattle, the whole thing over here, right here.
Got a lot of critters here, don't you?
A lot of critters, yeah.
I have to look around.
This one's directed at Ken. Do you make as much money on cable as you do on public television?
Do I make as much what? Money?
Money.
As a matter of fact, you don't. Cable television hasn't got the budget of network. No, basically no.
What did you like and dislike about your character, Ken?
What do I like and dislike about my character? Well, like I said before, it's a fun character. When we go in Monday morning usually and sit around a big conference table and read through a given script, and all the funny lines are given to me. It's terrific. You know, when we come to my lines, everybody in the room just cracks up. And not through my doing, through the writers, but it's great.
I have a question for Butch. Was there really a house that you lived in, or was there just a lot of sets and special effects like for the house?
Well, there wasn't actually a house. There's a street called Colonial Street where there's Beaver's house and Marcus Welby's house, the Munster's house, and the Big Valley house, but there was really no actual house that people ever lived in.
This is for all of you. Did you all, in the shows, did you guys make many of bloopers?
Bloopers? Did you mess up?
Yeah. Of course. I mean, I did. I think I'll admit to it. I made a lot of them.
Oh, sure. Blanks. We were talking before about pulling blanks, you know, where you'll be talking and your line just goes out and and that camera's rolling, then everyone just breaks up.
Gee, that never happened to me.
This happened to me, I'll tell you.
This is for Donna. When you had the castle in Scotland, was that just a set, or was it really?
No, we actually loaded up the old truck and flew it to England. So we filmed in England 2 different years. We took us in the truck too.
Now, I know you did a movie, I think it was called Still the Beaver, a movie, and the Beverly Hillbillies did a movie, but the Munsters haven't done a movie, and that surprises me a little bit.
No, they did do a movie at the end of the show. It's called Munsters Go Home, and it was the only color episode ever done of the Munsters.
When you, this is for Butch. When you were a little boy, were you ever scared of Herman?
No, you know why? But I got to know him before I saw him in makeup. If I probably would have seen him in makeup first, it probably would have scared me, but I got to see him as his real self.
I've got a question for Butch. How does Grandpa turn into a bat or any animal?
Well, he just spins around a puff of smoke and runs off the set, and then we've got the animal to cut in. It's all tricks, you know that.
Yes, I have a question for all of you. How many days a week did you work and how many hours per day?
I worked 5 days a week. We shot 3 days a week. We would read Monday, rehearse Tuesday, and then it was a typical, 10, 11-hour day. For me, it was.
We worked about 12 hours a day, 3 days a week, and then we had a reading, too.
I worked with the same boss as Butch, so it was the same as him.
Oh, you want to ask a question? What were you going to ask?
I want to know if you have any pictures and autographs.
She forgot her camera, so what can we do here? Let me ask you, as far as the future is concerned, Ken, you obviously hope that your show goes. And we talked a little bit now. Is recording what you want to do, Donna? Is that where you want to put all your efforts now?
Well, not it's like this. I have a lot of things going. I do the Ozark Extravaganza in Rolla, Missouri in September for 4 days. And, just lots of little things like that. I do a children's show in Canada. And then I said we're working to produce our own movie. We've got a good script, the option on we haven't got a script, but we got the option on a book, and we're raising our money now.
Who influenced you the most when you were acting in the Hillbillies? In the Hillbillies, who influenced you the most? Buddy Epson obviously had been in many films.
Yeah, Buddy was really, he was special. Well, he played my dad, so I think I was closest to him. But they were very professional people, really, and we weren't too spoiled. We couldn't have any say. We could never change a line in a script without permission from the producer. I mean, we couldn't say much.
I named...
Go right, go.
She named her Cabbage Patch doll after Ellie Mae.
Thank you.
Butch, when you did The Monsters, you were in between two veteran actors who are just great guys, Fred Gwynn and Al Lewis.
And for that matter, Yvonne DiCarlo.
Yvonne DiCarlo.
She's Moses' mother. You can't...
Moses' mother.
No, Moses' wife, I'm sorry. They were good. They taught me a lot. They were both well-seasoned actors, and they were real patient with me, and they were good teachers. They were very good with kids.
I'd like to ask Ken a question. When you worked as a policeman in Los Angeles, were you bilingual? Could you speak Spanish as well as English?
Yes, I speak Spanish.
That probably
It was necessary.
It was necessary where you worked?
For the last 8 years on the job, I can't remember speaking English.
After what happened to you when the first Beaver show went off the air, then you got into police work, you had a steady job, you were a veteran on the police force. Did you have any reservations about getting back into show business again?
Well, no. By the time that the show came around, I had already stopped working for the police department. So no, the show's timing was terrific.
Don't go away. We've got much more for you on Twin Cities Live from the Minnesota State Fair coming up.
Here at the Weight Loss Clinic, you lose weight fast. You can lose as much as one dress size every 2 weeks and get results like these.
I was overweight so long that I can't remember the last time I bought a swimsuit.
At the Weight Loss Clinic, Lee Pyle lost 51 pounds and went from a size 18 to a 10.
I used to hate the summer. Now I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, Weight Loss Clinic. Now that I've lost weight, my favorite things in life are a lot more fun.
At the Weight Loss Clinic, Bonnie Hageman lost 74 pounds and went from a size 22 to a 14.
I feel attractive now, and my husband is very proud of me. Thank you, Weight Loss Clinic.
We help those people, and we'd like to help you. We can help you lose as much as one dress size every 2 weeks. So call the Weight Loss Clinic now. We'll give you all the facts plus a 30-minute consultation, absolutely free. Remember, our nurses make the difference. You can lose up to one dress size every 2 weeks, so call us at the Weight Loss Clinic now.
Trained to be a medical administrative assistant, the new medical secretary at Lakeland Academy. Start a career using modern computers. In 9 short months, you'll be ready for work.
I love what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing.
We'll help you find a job when you graduate. Call 827-5656. Top flight instruction. Lakeland Medical Dental Academy. Call 827-5656. Call now, 827-5656.
Meet Wally, our weatherman. Wally's forecast is wet and gloomy because he's wearing a diaper with a droopy waist that leaks. Well, Wally, here's Kleenex Huggies diapers to brighten your day. Huggies are thick and absorbent with soft, cuddly, elastic waistbands to help stop those leaks. So Huggies hug all over to help stop leaking and help keep babies happy. Now Wally's wearing Huggies and reporting sunny days ahead. Right, Wally?
In the middle of some...
I want to take a quick moment here to remind you that we are going to be out here at the fair for the next couple of days. In fact, tomorrow morning we'll be here at 9 a.m. and you be here too. We're going to have a show on triplets. That should be interesting. On Tuesday at 1 p.m. also, we've got a playback show. We're going to tape a show to play back on Labor Day, and it's psychic astrologer Dennis Fairchild. He's always interesting.
Ooh.
And on Wednesday, possible satanic effects of toys on your children. So that should be interesting. So join us at the stage, the KSTP building, easy to find, right across from the grandstand. You can't miss it. And I want to thank Landy's Camping Center for the recreational vehicles they provided for us throughout our stay out here at the fair. Let's get right to some, once again, before we get too far along, thanks to all of you for showing up, and thanks for all the great times that you've given us over the past years.
Been fun.
Really.
I'd just like to compliment Mr. Haskell on his lovely outfit today. That's what he always said to June. That's why I'm saying that. I'd like to compliment Mr. Haskell on his lovely outfit he's wearing this morning.
You used to say that to June all the time.
There's something about that boy, Ward, that I just don't like.
June, the only woman in the world that wore pearls everywhere in her life.
She still wears them.
How long did it take you to learn your lines? Was it hard, or?
Yes.
Butch, go ahead. Right, jump right in there.
Too hard. For me, it wasn't. I'm lucky I had a good memory.
It's harder now than it was as a child, I'll tell you.
Yeah, there you go.
I bet I could
Brain
say,
cells are leaving me all the time.
I bet I could say howdy Paul more ways than anybody you ever met.
This is for Donna. Did you have any problems with the animals you had to work with?
Not overall, I was really very, very fortunate. You know, I think you have to love them to work with them, though.
This is for Ken. How come you and Lumpy always gang up on Wally during the show?
That's the way it was written. You just, you do as you're told, you know.
This is for Donna. What happened to the old truck? Do you still have it, or is it a museum, or what?
The old truck was given to the museum outside of Branson, Missouri, School of the Ozarks, and they have it in their museum. I've been there and I've seen it. They've taken pictures. Thank you.
And the old cement pond.
And the cement pond. It was on a set. We had to see it.
What are some of your hobbies and recreations?
What do you do away from everything? I mean, just to get away from it all.
I'm a workaholic. If I'm not acting, I'm building something. I love it. I restore old houses and move houses. It's good therapy.
Hotel accommodations and dining provided by the Radisson University Hotel, 615 Washington Avenue Southeast on the University of Minnesota East Bank campus. Limousine service for the guests of Twin Cities Live, provided by Henderson Chauffeured Cadillacs. Hair and makeup, courtesy of the Hair Forum, Westbrook Mall, Brooklyn Center.
Donna, how did you get involved in gospel music?
How did you get involved in gospel music?
I just wanted to do it. Finally got around to do it. And then I go to churches, share a lot with youth groups, young people, and as I said, ladies groups.
Well, good luck to all three of you in your future endeavors. And once again, thank you, Ken Osmond, Donna Douglas, and Butch Patrick.